Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome on in to Coffee with Bros. How are you? It's Thursday. We're grinding through the weeks. It's nonsense right now in the Philadelphia sports world. Phillies are basically toast. Nola was not good enough last night. I don't care that, it wasn't as bad. It was No. Nola was not sharp last night. You still got some Ben Simmons drama, although I got to give credit to us over here, because we're not reacting as much as maybe I thought we would to every little detail. Ramona Shelburne released some information yesterday that, it looks like Ben Simmons is willing to wait out all year. There weren't really any bites on it, which is exactly what Rich Paul and Ben Simmons want. They want people to bite on that story and to get all up in arms about it. But realistically, it did not impact our lives at all. Okay, whatever. We'll just keep moving on. Let's listen about Tyrese Maxey. Let's learn more about the offense. So as of right now, it seems to be pretty set in stone. Okay, Ben, we get it. You're not showing up. We don't care. Let's move together with this team and see what happens if we just play the hardball game. At least that's the way it looks like. The Sixers have a good grasp on it as of right now. What else? Nick Sirianni in that press conference yesterday was an absolute disaster. So there's a lot happening right now in Philadelphia sports world. And unfortunately, a lot of it's bad. You got Flyers anticipation. That's fun, no doubt about it. So, there's something to that for sure. But yeah, it's kind of negative right now, unfortunately. This isn't interesting. My man, good to see your ass this morning. Okay. Screw how bad we were about excuse me, sorry. I got some coffee to drink here. Screw how bad we were Monday night. Let's beat KC. I love the power in this, right? I love the power behind the message. I love the tone that's set here, like, screw it, let's go. But that's way too, Isaiah, that's way too, like, I don't know. You're just like cheering the Eagles on, which is great. I want people to cheer the Eagles on. I don't know how I can be that excited for this matchup and anticipate not seeing a bad team again, because that's what this Eagles team is. They're bad. And I don't know. I mean, to see Kansas City lose 3 in a row, come into this building, Andy Reid's going to lose his 3rd straight game in South Philadelphia in the Link in a row in this season, in this short season so far. It's just hard for me to imagine that, because you say, screw how bad we were. Yeah, that's great. You can say that in terms of like, all right, let's forget about it. But I can't forget about it, considering the problems with the football team were all on display in that game. Like, I can't screw it, forget it. I can't forget it. That's who they are, and that's a problem when we analyze the next matchup, unfortunately. Did I end up getting a free coffee last night? Did I? I went to Starbucks, the fiance, and I was nice. We went to Starbucks, and then we actually kicked it there for a little bit. I had my AirPods in. I was listening to some music, writing some blogs for the website, which you can check out at broadsmedia.com. So I got my normal-sized venti iced coffee from Starbucks. And then when we were leaving, I figured, well, why don't I grab another so I can just throw it in the fridge and have it later that night? And that's exactly what happened. So then when I was leaving, I was like, let me get another freaking, I think I went with the Grande that second time around, though. So instead of the Venti, I went with the Grande. Should have went Venti. I'm an idiot. But I was like, hey, can I get a Grande, a little iced coffee, black, put in my fridge, bang, walked out the door with another one. I feel you, man. Just trying to be positive. I'm with you with the positivity. It's hard to be fully positive when you understood heading into the year what this was all going to be about. Good morning, bros. What's up, Kevin? What's happening? Hope the coffee's hitting right today. Well, I only had about 3 sips. I have a big day, though. I have the next, so every 2 weeks, because you have to let it time to heal. I have 3 tattoo appointments set up on this Thursday, 2 Thursdays from now, 2 Thursdays from then, which actually it falls on the Eagles Tampa Bay Buccaneers Thursday night game. But I have a big tattoo session today, probably a 6 to 7 hour session. So I'm pretty pumped up for it. That's at noon. So I can't wait for that. I accidentally dropped I dropped schmooze this morning. I set it for 6 a.m. instead of 10 a.m. So a little lucky for you listeners out there. You got schmoozed a little bit early. I got Adam Kaplan on of Inside the Birds. He's fantastic. Him and Jeff Mosher do a great job on the show. And I had him on to kind of hear what he was hearing about some of these plays that were called with the Eagles and some of these situations that we've seen play out and whatnot. It was a really fun interview. It was good people. Great people. Let's see. Do I think a swap for De'Aaron Fox? No, I mean, I want it to happen. I would absolutely do it. Do I believe the Sacramento Kings would do it? No, I don't. So how real is it? I don't think it's real because the Sacramento Kings are probably not willing to do it. And let me just say this. If you were to ask 100 Sixers fans, would you trade Ben Simmons for De'Aaron Fox? How many of those Sixers fans would say, me? All 100, right? Does that tell you something? Because what I like to do whenever we play this game on would I trade this person for another individual, you have to put your shoes on the other feet. If we are Sacramento right now, pretend Coffee with Broads is a Sacramento sports talk radio YouTube channel, right? Would we sit here and say, let's trade De'Aaron Fox for Ben Simmons? We'd say, hell no. This guy's afraid of the moment. This guy's afraid to shoot a basketball. This guy does nothing in the postseason. He can get you there, but then he fails miserably and falls flat on his face. Hell no, I don't want Ben Simmons. So just to put it on the other side, that's kind of how I like to approach things. CJ with a $5 donation. Okay, say it is the Braves versus the Yankees in the World Series. Who are you rooting for, Cheese? I'd have to see how it all played out because sometimes I'm different. So I'm a lot different than, I'd say, fans out there in this regards. I can appreciate a run of a team that is technically a rival of a Philadelphia sports team. When the Nationals won the World Series, I'm not telling you that I'm sitting on the edge of my seat rooting for them, but I wasn't also insanely rooting against them either. I was enjoying their ride. I can't control the ride. It's going to happen regardless. So I'm either going to hate it and want to punch my brains in, or I'm going to appreciate the greatness of the sport of baseball. I was thinking about this last night. I can't fucking wait for playoff baseball. I can't fucking wait. The Athletics, the Oakland Athletics, Oakland A's last night. You got the Seattle Mariners. And this is edge of your seat type stuff. This is amazing. So I'd have to see the flow of the playoff series to see which storyline I enjoyed more for them to get there. But I'd probably honestly say, because we hate the Yankees so much, and I know the Braves are a division rival, but there's something about Yankees fans and pain that resonate a lot. It's like the Cowboys, right? No one wants the Cowboys to win outside of Cowboys fans. Yankees are almost the same way. No one wants the Yankees to win unless you are in the Yankee fandom. So believe it or not, there's probably a possibility that I would be rooting for the Braves over the Yankees, but it would depend. It would depend on how I feel watching the series play out and how they got there, kind of thing. But that's an interesting question, CJ. I appreciate that question. But that's my honest answer. I would think it would probably be the Braves I'd root for because no one wants to see the Yankees win. And we already know the Braves are a fantastic organization. They're ran way better than the Phillies. They're structured. They know what they're doing. They have game plans. I mean, me rooting for them or not rooting for them does not change the fact that they are significantly deeper and stronger from top to bottom than the Phillies are, Yeah, Mets would be a different story. Jesse says, here's my yearly tradition of rooting against the Braves because the Phillies never made the playoffs, so go Brewers. You're going Brewers. I don't know. I don't have that. I don't have that team where I'm just, let me root for this team. Like I said, I just like to play it out and see what happens and just appreciate the sport of baseball for what it is. I'm diehard playoffs outside of the Phillies. One of my friends is a really strong Phillies fan, right? Diehard, loves the sport, baseball man. And I said, are you pumped up for the wild card? Are you pumped up for the NLDS? He goes, hell no, I ain't watching shit. I'm like, what do you mean you're not watching anything? He's like, I'm not watching a damn thing. You're not watching playoff baseball? He goes, no, once the Phillies are done, I'm done. It's Eagles mode. It's another mode. I'm like, dude, you're a baseball guy, though. You grew up playing the game since you were 5 years old. It's all we love. We love baseball. What do you mean? It's not all we love. We love them all. But you get my point. We love baseball. We love baseball. How in the world are you just going to eliminate the best part of the season just because the Phillies are done? He's like, I just can't do it. I'm like, what do you mean you can't do it? You can't watch out-of-market baseball games as a baseball guy? I was a little sick by that. I was a little thrown off by that. I couldn't comprehend it. It bothered me. I'm all in. I'm in must-watch mode. I've actually been going back and forth in my head on how I'm going to cover the baseball playoffs this year. Will I do it in blog form? Will I do it in podcast form? I know back in the day, I'm talking about last season, I would break down Dodgers Rays game by game on podcast form here on YouTube. I don't know if I'm going to necessarily do that again. Maybe I will for the World Series and for the other series. I'll do blog posts. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm definitely going to cover the game and cover the playoffs because it's outstanding. Prods, I can't stand the Braves. I hate them more than the Mets. Wow. They're like my Cowboys. I live down here and all my friends love Braves. Okay, I mean, that's a little bit different when you're in that circle of Braves fans constantly. So you have to put up with their garbage and you're always getting abused in a sports way, in a sports fandom way. You're getting abused by your friends. You're getting made fun of by your friends. And it's a toxic environment. Okay, I can get behind that. I understand. See, here, I don't even think it's close. Even though the Braves are a team that we despise and we don't like them, at the end of the day, there's something about the stank of the Mets. There's something about the way that their fans take over our ballpark every single time. There's something about them and their team in general that are just an embarrassment that we don't enjoy here, which I think the Mets take it over the Braves, but we still hate the Braves too. Do you think we could have made the playoffs if we had Hoskins? No, I don't. I know a lot of people are starting to look back now and say, what if? What if Hoskins didn't get hurt? What if this? What if that? At the end of the day, this team wasn't good enough, and they showed why. Down the stretch, we're playing really, we're playing the Freddie Galvises, the Ronald Torreses, the Matt Vierlings. We played Jankowski too much this year, Nick Maton, Luke Williams. You think about these players that were forced to play in your lineup way too much throughout 162. And, it makes a lot of sense that you're basically right here. I heard John Kincaid say this, and I thought it was interesting. He was looking for some positives. And the positives were you could land a winning season, which you have not done. You can have an actually good home record, which is something you can build off of. Is there something to these little positives as you inch forward, looking to make that change from absolute disaster over the last 2 years prior to this one? And then this was at least a step in the right direction. And my only answer to that would be why I would say no, it's not something you can grab onto, is because you need a full-on new makeup. You need to change literally big-time players. You need to trade Aaron Nola, not because I think he'll never be good again, but you need a facelift. You need to trade Aaron Nola. You need to get rid of, obviously, you will in Andrew McCutchen, but Odubel Herrera. You need to get a legitimate new identity as a team and make serious changes. And they did that, with Mattingly, changing the way that they're going to approach this minor league system. And I really love that hire by Dave Dombrowski when you think about, adding to this new look, this new face of Phillies. You got to change the farm system. It starts with them. Prospects, grow, development. Well, you pick up Preston Mattingly, and I think that's a good start to this for sure. But that's my problem is I can't grab onto anything because you need to you got to really make some legitimate change inside here. And he started to do that internally. Now it's externally too. When I mean externally, I'm saying on the field product, what you actually see. You got to trade Aaron Nola. You got to make some moves here. It has to be done. It has to be done. They need to have a Flyers mentality in the offseason. Can't bring back the same players. Yeah, but the problem is with baseball, it's a little more difficult because the real problems stem. See, the reason why it's different is Ron Hextall set this Flyers franchise up with prospects, and then you can tweak things the way that Chuck Fletcher did. And it's a little different, too, with like trading Jake Voracek for Cam Atkinson. And, it's not the same as trading Aaron Nola for another pitcher that you'll be able to plug in and who has the career that Cam Atkinson has had. It just doesn't really normally play out that way. You'll get prospects in return or maybe a ready-to-go pitcher that could be utilized but doesn't have the resume of, let's say, what a Cam Atkinson sort of had. So it's a little different in terms of making the trades, but you're right. Another problem is 2 outfielders, center field, left field, third base, possibly even shortstop, a starting pitcher, 3 bullpen pieces. I don't know how you can change all of that in one offseason. So it's going to take time to retool and rebuild this, which is basically where Matt Klentak was 4 or 5 years ago once he got hired. All right, there's going to be a 5-year plan. It's going to be a 4-year plan. You'll see our plan as it plays out. Mickey Moniak stinks. Adam Hazley stinks. Spencer Howard stinks. Their picks have just flat out stunk, and there's been no growth and development with them. So now you're really just starting over from where you were, let's say, 5 years ago when Matt Klentak, or I guess I should say, was that closer to 7 years ago at this point, 6 years ago when Matt Klentak came in? I think he has value for sure. I mean, he's not going to bring you back Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, and Chris Sale, but he's got value in him. He's a career 3.5 ERA guy. It's clear that, and I saw Ryan Howard made this statement, there's been adjustments made to what he does. The amount of times he gets rocked with 2 strikes and 0-2 counts is flat out embarrassing, and things need to change. I don't know if that's an Aaron Nola problem, if that's a philosophy problem. You saw Hector Neris too at one point with the 2 strikes. I mean, what are we doing? What's the mentality with these pitches? Where are we trying to go with them? Why are they staying in the zone? Why are these off-speed pitches staying in the zone, flirting with an opportunity to get hit? It just flat out can't happen. This is more little league stuff than, let's say, professional baseball at the major league level. So I think he still has value for sure. I don't think that he's a bum. He stinks. Players would look at Aaron Nola as someone they could slot into their 3 and can really add to their 1 and 2. And I can honestly get behind that. If you told me you had a Zach Wheeler and someone just underneath Zach Wheeler, and you could acquire an Aaron Nola to be your 3, even though he had a tough season, what we would say is, well, he had a tough 2021, but look back at what he did throughout. I mean, that's what we do for every single player that you acquire. Well, they might have had a tough season in their last year, but if you date back to 2020, 2019, 2018, there were some nice numbers in there, and that's how another squad would spin it. They would not define Aaron Nola by just the 1 bad season he had. They'd say, let's look at his entire sample size. Let's look at his total body of work. And from there, pounce on an opportunity if it's there. We got $5 coming in from Donnell. What's up, bros? Have you heard that the Eagles opened up? Yeah, I did. The Deshaun Watson thing. That's Chris Sims. I don't have an opinion on it. I don't have an opinion on it because I just feel that every time a bad game happens with Jalen Hurts, this Deshaun Watson thing's going to be flirting around and going to be all around the new. I mean, I don't know what to do with it, right? Until I see the trade actually happen, and I don't want them to do it. I don't want them to make the trade. I don't want to deal with Deshaun Watson. I want nothing to do with Deshaun Watson. That's my personal opinion on him as the person. I don't want to do it, but I'm saying I don't have an opinion on the new surface of this because this is just how things work. When things get ugly, what are they going to do? Deshaun Watson open up the. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, leaked information. It could be. I don't want them to do it. I don't want them to do it. Even though I don't feel Jalen Hurts is the guy. I do not feel strongly in Jalen Hurts being the guy. There's plenty of weeks for him to win me back over. Right now, I don't feel strong about it. How do I feel about it? I think it would be the wrong move. But until I see it actually happen, I just don't have an opinion on it because I don't want to do it. I don't think it would be sharp. I don't think it would be a great idea. And I just feel that this is constantly always going to be tied together with or without the trade happening. So until it does, it's hard for me to really react to it. Thank you for the $5, Donnell. I appreciate that. How do you pick Watson up before even seeing it all play out? Well, yeah, that's definitely part of the concern, Mark, for sure, is what's going on here with this. How can you put in that type of compensation and make all those moves and put in those pieces without knowing exactly what it'll be, unless they do know, unless they're starting to get more info and it would be just a league thing. It's possible that he just gets suspended by the league for some games, and then after that, he's ready to play. But once again, I don't want to deal with Deshaun Watson drama. That's not something that I want to talk about. I'm talking about Ben not playing basketball at an NBA level as an NBA player getting paid $30 million. I'm talking about the Phillies falling flat on their face and looking embarrassing down in Atlanta. I'm talking about Nick Sirianni, who has no idea how to answer questions, and he seems lost and out of control right now. Things are spinning wildly, and it's only week 3. The last thing I want to add to the mix is Deshaun Watson. You're proud of your Atlanta Falcons? Why is that? Why are you proud of your Atlanta Falcons? Because they beat the New York Giants? They battled back and beat the New York Giants? Why do you feel that way? I'm just asking a question. You're proud of your Atlanta Braves. Okay, so it looks like you're just an Atlanta sports fan that's proud of all of your teams. Are you proud of your Atlanta Hawks? Is that about to pop up there as well? We're going to bring in Aaron Rodgers. I don't know how bringing in Aaron Rodgers fixes all these other issues that this team has right now. They're clearly not skilled at the positions that they need to be skilled in right now. They're very young at the wide receiver core. They're young in certain areas. They're injured in other areas. I don't know how Aaron Rodgers, you know what, I want a franchise quarterback that's not close to 40, and I would like to utilize the compensation and the assets that they have, that they acquired through compensation and trades and whatnot, that they have for next season to go get a franchise quarterback. That's what I want to go do. That's my plan. That's what I think is the best for this franchise if they went down that road, to be honest with you. You know what else is fantastic? WinView. I don't need to tell you how big this series is against the Phillies and the Braves. This could very well decide the season. Well, it basically has. If you want to make the action even more interesting, though, and I will still be tuning in today, WinView is the app for you. You can play pre-game contests where you answer questions before the game or play along live, unlike any other app out there. Right now, there's a progressive jackpot. Listen to this, because this is why you're still going to watch tonight's game, even though we understand the Phillies are basically dead. Right now, there's a progressive jackpot promotion above $3,000. All you need to do is make 10 correct predictions in those Phillies-Braves pregame contests, and you win a share of the jackpot. This is not daily fantasy. This is not a sports book. Just questions about the Phillies. Get the app now, winview.tv/Broads. All of the information is down below in the description. It's absolutely 1,000% a no-brainer. Make sure you check that out for sure. What would I rate Devontae Smith? Do you think his lack of production is due to Hurts not being a typical passer, or do you think he's dealing with growing pains in the NFL? I think it's a little bit of everything. His size was definitely an issue against the Cowboys. The scheme makes no sense from Nick Sirianni, and the quarterback is struggling as well. It's basically a lot of, to a degree, what we saw last year where what was wrong with the offense? Well, Doug Peterson had a bad game plan. Carson Wentz was all over the map and could not go through his progressions properly. The offensive line was banged up. Your talent at the wide receiver position was not there. It was a combination of 4 or 5 different things. Right now, the offense looks just as bad as it was last year. The difference was, just Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts. Even though Jalen Hurts had 2 interceptions, the difference was Carson Wentz was doing that every single game. Is Jalen Hurts going to throw the ball away every game? And I mean, not away as if running it to the sideline and throwing it out of bounds, but more so throwing it away in terms of putting it in double coverage, putting it in uncomfortable spots. And maybe he does due to trying to force the issue, which was what Carson Wentz was doing, knowing that there was no sort of progression happening with their offense. So we'll see as the weeks continue to play out. But ultimately, I think it's a combination of everything. Lack of size. You saw the way Diggs was closing out on him. It looked like a man amongst high school kids with the size difference, with the weight with Devontae Smith. And that's okay. You'll get better at that for sure. You'll get better when you go into the weight room. You'll add muscle mass. You'll learn your body, the nutrition, all of it to an NFL level will absolutely change Devontae Smith over the years. And I'm not questioning who he can become and how strong he can be, because there's no doubt that he has a skill set that is very sensational for the National Football League. But I think it's really just a whole combination of 5, 6, 7 different things that are playing a role in why this offense looks the way that it does. We got $5 more coming in from Donnell. Sorry, bro, it's about Deshaun Watson. Oh, you don't have to apologize. It's a hot item today. It's being talked about for a reason. So it's not as if it's a bad question. It's just I don't really have the answer on it because I don't think they're going to do it. I think it's more news than anything else. But we do understand that Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie have been interested in the past. But I don't want to do it because I don't want to deal with Deshaun Watson nonsense. Let's talk about Nick. How much faith do you have in him keeping his word? What do you mean by keep? What is the word we're looking for him to keep? The fact that they'll be like the offense. What word is he trying to keep? What promise did he make that we're wondering if he's going to continue to keep his promise to us? Because he said a lot of things, specifically yesterday in the presser. I had no idea the direction he was going in. He was asked about the offense and what it's supposed to look like, the identity. He nailed everything. He wants a run game. He wants play action. He wants explosive plays. Doesn't want the well, that's everything, Nick. That's literally everything. Yeah, I want that too. You want to be the best team in football? I mean, that's basically what you're trying to say. I don't know if I necessarily love that answer because it's like, yeah, well, you want to be the best team in football then. And by the way, your explosive plays, not happening effectively enough. You're running the football, not happening at all. So what you want your identity to be, you're not even doing it. So you're just spewing out garbage, which is a huge problem for me. He also had what was the one that he went with? I wrote it down. I did a little bit on it yesterday too. Poor execution, needs to be better. Oh, the RPOs. They count RPOs as running plays. How? You're not running the ball. Oh, but it drags a defender this way. It doesn't matter what it does before the execution of the play. Miles Sanders did not have the ball in his hands. Therefore, he can't run up the middle for 24 yards. Sure, the defense might look at it a certain way because there's a run option, but you're not actually physically running the ball. That's a problem. That doesn't count as a run play. That's the issue. Oh, we got midlife crisis chiming in. Don't believe Girardi did everything possible to win. We knew September that Didi couldn't hit lefties. Well, he actually has been hitting left. He had a hit against a lefty yesterday. He had a lefty bomb the other night. So I don't have a problem with hitting Didi because your alternative that everybody's screaming about stinks. Your alternative that everybody's upset about blows just as much as Didi has been struggling. I don't care that you wanted a utility guy that doesn't deserve to play every day to be put in a season-saving situation. I look at the bigger issue. The fact that you need a season-saving situation and you're trying to put in a Freddie Galvis, a Ronald Torreyes, a Matt Vierling, a Nick Maton, a Luke Williams, a Travis Jankowski, these bums that don't deserve to be playing all this time. That's more of the problem. And Kutch couldn't hit righties. Should have known some type of... They don't have that, though. They don't have that. Should have been some... They don't have that, though. And that's a problem of Matt Klentak. So you're demanding the manager to snap his fingers and just have all of those options that you want. Well, okay, who should play? Like, who should play if Kutch is struggling? Matt Vierling? Okay, have Matt Vierling. Guess what? You still lose games. You're still going to lose games. Didi Gregorius had some hits off lefties as of late. Just to be fair, he's had lefties of late. A bum could have done better. Well, I hate to break it to you. They don't have the options. Yeah, exactly. The fact that you're even saying Sean Rodriguez is all I need to know. Oh, someone said it in front of you. But yeah, I mean, you're just screaming because you didn't like the results, which is fine, but you're acting as if the alternative results would have been, one, extremely obvious, and two, a no-brainer success. Your alternatives suck just as much as Didi and McCutchen have sucked in certain areas. So that's my problem. You can bitch and complain all you want. Oh, Joe should have done this. Imagine if Alec Boehm stepped up in the game situation to save the game and save the season, and he struck out swinging on 3 pitches. You know what the reaction would have been? Joe Girardi, what an idiot. Joe Girardi, how can you put in a guy that was so bad that he couldn't even play in the major league level, and now you put him up to save the season? I would have took my chances on Didi. I would have took my chances on Freddie Galvis, who was 0 for 17. There's no way you put in a AAA player that has failed miserably, who can't do anything but pull a baseball, who can't go the other way with it. How could you possibly do that? I already know what the reaction would have been if he went with the alternative before going with the alternative. That's why I can't get behind it. Yeah, but that's because the team stinks. It's not because Joe had the options to make it better. And that's the point I'm trying to make when you say Joe wasn't trying to win or Joe didn't put the best product out there. I mean, look, you're on the road trying to save the season. You have veterans in Andrew McCutchen and Didi Gregorius who have been underwhelming in certain areas, but you have veteran players who have been around the block. Or you got Matt Vierling, Freddie Galvin. Like, you put him out there, and Joe Girardi said it best. If we're going to win, Didi has to hit. And that's reality. You don't have another option. So my point is, you're right. It is disappointing to see the lineup every day. That's not a Joe problem. That's a roster problem. And that's not a Dave Dombrowski problem because he just got here and he was handed the slop of Matt Klentak. So you're trying to point the finger on who there is to blame. Don't get me wrong. I like Girardi. Makes me sick to see what a team like the Mariners do. I feel like midlife crisis, you're kind of switching your tone on me as you continue to comment in. And I don't disagree with you there. Yeah, the Mariners, the Tampa Bay Rays, they have no money. You also think of the Oakland Athletics. These teams have no money, yet they consistently put together a product that is amazing. You know, I heard Jason Stark on yesterday with Mikey Miss, and he was talking about, finding those right pieces, finding those complementary pieces to Bryce Harper, to JT Realmuto, to Zach Wheeler. And he said, look at the Rays. Look what the Rays do. I'm thinking, yeah, you know what, Jason? I wish we could be the Rays. I wish they could have hired Eric Neander. I wanted to go down that path. They're not savvy enough. And Dave Dombrowski isn't going to be the guy to go down that road. He does it in a different way. Now, his way has shown success. His way has worked out, and he's methodical with the way that he makes his decisions. He just does it in a different way than the Tampa Bay Rays. So we'll see how it works. One plate appearance and Bohm gets nailed. Hilarious. Just hilarious. Watching Alec Bohm back up here. It's just disappointing. It's hilarious in like a non-funny way. It's like a sarcastic hilarious that this is where we are with Alec Bohm. Imagine before the year played out, we told you how Alec Bohm would be, and we told you what it would be like in late September with Alec Bohm. We'd probably laugh in pain once again. Joe Girardi needs at least one more year. He's definitely getting one more year. It's basically inevitable. We drove Gabe Kapler out real quick. That worked out so well. Yeah, exactly. We always blame the coaches for a lot more than it deserves, for sure. Now, I'm not saying they don't have a hand in things. I'm not telling you Joe Girardi was great. I'm telling you the options that he had to work with. I wouldn't want to be in his position. And I know I've said this before, but I continue to see it yesterday. There's a certain sports talk radio host on a station that is a different station. And every time Joe makes a decision, he's wrong. Every bullpen, and he's saying that as if Joe Girardi is pathetic. And he's saying that as if Joe Girardi is horrendous. Everything Joe Girardi does just fails. Shaking my head, Joe. Every decision you make. Because last night, of course, you go with Hector, or you go with the bullpen, Jose Alvarado, Hector Neris, the game gets blown wide open. If that's the case, where every time you do something new, every time you go to the bullpen, every time you use a certain play, every time you yank your starter, every time you do this sequence, it fails, that means your options are just garbage. If it's every time. Sure, some of them are questionable decisions. Nobody's denying that. If it fails at this much of a rate, though, because you're bound to be right. Joe Girardi, who's won a title, who's won a championship due to having talent and properly pushing the right buttons, if he's looking this bad and this pathetic, it tells me more about the surrounding pieces than anybody else. So David says that Girardi's getting more slack based on his resume. What do you mean he's getting more slack? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by he's getting more slack? As if he should be criticized more? Do you see this team, David? Do you see what their roster is like? I think he should be getting blamed less. I'm the complete opposite. He should be getting more of a free pass because of the disaster that was. Yeah, you got 34 blown saves. You got an issue all throughout the season with injuries at some point, which a lot of people deal with. But I'm just saying, when you're built the way that you are, you don't have the depth to make up for that. You can make the argument that with where they're at right now is actually an amazing job, considering you had to play Brad Miller every day. You had to play Ronald Torreyes every day. Freddie Galvis was slotted in there. The fact that that was your lineup every day, you'd say, wow, they might have overachieved with that lineup, which would mean the manager overachieved with what they were able to put out there every day with that slop. You can make the argument that that's the case. Crazy, isn't it? Oh, yeah, just go through the lineup of the Atlanta Braves. Listen to this. Let's see if we can go to the Braves stats. I want to go to, I guess I should go player stats. I don't want it to be team stats. All right, let's go to their home runs, right? Austin Riley, 32 bombs. Freddie Freeman, 31 bombs. Ozzie Albies, 30 bombs. Dansby Swanson, 27 bombs. Is this right? I feel like it's more than this. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know why I felt like they had more, because I could have sworn they had someone with 38. But anyway, Ronald Acuna Jr., who's injured, obviously, 24. Look at their lineup and the way that they're able to produce the long ball. It's ridiculous. Austin Riley, 24 years old. Ozzie Albies, 24 years old. Dansby Swanson, 27 years old. It's amazing what they have. It's amazing what their system's like. It's amazing the organizational way that they have produced in Atlanta and how successful they've been. Remember before, here's coaches leaving Philly, going to Atlanta, walking. I mean, it's terrible. Yeah, I thought so. I'm going to say, wait a second. I was going to say, why is this at? I knew that that didn't sound right at all. But at the same time, I knew none of this was right. Yeah, this is MLB.com. And this is right now, regular season. Isn't that crazy? So MLB.com, baseball reference, and let's check CBS Sports. 2021 Atlanta Braves. They have the highest with Austin Riley at 32 and Freddie Freeman at 31. I knew it wasn't right. I'm like, this doesn't even sound right. I was like, I saw their numbers the other day. Go to Fangraphs. You would think MLB.com would have the updated. All right, let's go to Fangraphs. Home runs. Yep, same with them. Austin Riley, 32. Freddie Freeman, 31. Ozzie Albies, 30. Are we drunk? That's just their Braves homers. Well, what do you mean? That's just their Braves homers. Oh, wow. Wait, what? So you're saying Austin Riley only has 32? He only has 32? That's just them as a Braves. I got it. That's kind of weird, though. But I guess not at the same time. You would think it would have their full production. Yeah, I got you. I understand. I got you. Brain fart for sure this morning. That's a brain fart for sure. Which is crazy, though, by the way, that he's at that number total. You know? Oh, we got $10 coming in from Isaiah. You are that dude. I'm used to sleeping and cuddling my girl's booty. I'm up and glad to be tuning in. Well, there's nothing wrong with the booty. What is going on with their D-line? I'm not used to seeing them give up the run. That was our bread and butter. Well, you're looking at injuries, Isaiah. That's the problem. You're looking at injuries, and what they're doing is they were definitely trying to wall off Javon Hargrave and Fletcher Cox, get to that second level. And once they got to that second level, well, the linebackers are Alex Singleton and your linebackers are Eric Wilson. So it has an effect when your linebackers are not very strong and they're in that weaker department, if you will. It's very difficult. Josh Sweat, Ryan Kerrigan has been absolutely nothing for you. Derek Barnett is a stew nod. You lose Brandon Graham. So basically what's happening is you don't have that much skill once you get injured with Brandon Graham to make up for it with some of your defensive ends and your defensive tackles. You're getting double teamed, and they can still get home. We're watching Javon Hargrave play at one of the best possible levels that you can find in the National Football League. I mean, you're talking Aaron Donald, like it's only been 3 weeks. There's a big difference between keeping that up for 17 and doing that for 3 weeks for sure. But the way he's doing it right now, that's arguably top of the entire league defensive tackle play. But you double team Fletcher Cox, you bring the heat with that interior there, and you don't really have the ability to make it up in other areas when you lose the amount of snap counts or the amount of snaps that Brandon Graham provides for you and brings to the table. So that's why it's happening. Everyone yelled at Jim Schwartz, by the way, as if Jim Schwartz was dumb and Jim Schwartz had no idea what he was doing. Well, I disagree completely with that. Oh, let me hear this real quick. I got a voicemail. I think it's important. Oh. Okay. I need to make that phone call. I will do that when this show is over. Okay. Thank you so much, Isaiah. I appreciate that, man. Do I feel we're getting too old? I mean, yeah, there's definitely an area here of you have a lot of older players on this team, and some of these older players are getting hurt. Brandon Brooks, older player. Isaac Sayamalu, getting up there. How old is he now, though? I mean, I don't think he's as old as the Lane Johnsons of the world, but yeah, see, he's only 27, so it's a little bit different for him. But you are getting older in a lot of these areas, and I think that's definitely a concern. And what you need to do is find the next Fletcher Cox, find the next player that you can build with for years to come at a key position. And you got to do that in a lot of positions. I think safety is a big area of concern. You have Anthony Harris on a 1-year deal. I like Kayvon Wallace, but he's nowhere even close to what I'm actually talking about. I'm talking to Malcolm Jenkins. You need to find the next Malcolm Jenkins. You need to find the next Fletcher Cox. You got Lane Johnson, who's getting on the other side, but he's holding upright, at least for right now. Who knows how that ankle is going to play out as the games progress and as the games continue. There's a lot of question marks with the age for sure. Yeah, you're starting to hit that side of the wrong side with a lot of these players. Eagles' run defense was a little shaky. Well, I think, Jose, what they were doing was they were basically taking what you would give them. So if they realized they could run the ball with certain formations, they would just run the ball. And if the Eagles wanted to limit the big explosive passing plays with CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, they're going to take something away in the passing game, which would then open up the ability to run with Zeke and Pollard, and that's what Kellen Moore was able to expose. It's just kind of like simple. It wasn't anything that blew my mind in terms of, just like elite greatness. It was just steady, solid structure from the Cowboys with Kellen Moore and the way they operated against Jonathan Gannon. It wasn't anything mind-blowing. It wasn't anything insane and just full-out dominant. It was just smart, structured game calling where you annihilated holes that the Eagles gave you all throughout the way. What's up, Logan? What's happening? Good morning, bro. It's a little late to the show, but I'm here. What does this team have to do to stop getting penalties? Stop being dumb. I mean, that's all mental. That's all preparation. Derek Barnett, I'd cut his ass. I'd make a huge statement. I know you're lacking in that area. I'd rather go down fighting with players that want to be there and players that are at least doing it the right way than Derek Barnett, who's just a fool and making boneheaded decisions every single day. He's barely running onto the field. That's where we're at. Well, he can barely run on the field in time for snaps. I'd cut his damn ass. They're not prepared. They're not prepared. Yeah, when it gets to this level, the message isn't as strong as it needs to be for sure. There's not as much of an emphasis that is going down, and it needs to happen more. Speaking of happening more, let's make some upgrades to your home, people. With over 20 years of industry experience, Orbit Energy and Power is home to your solar experts in residential and commercial projects. At Orbit, they're dedicated to making sure your project is completed easily and properly by using high-quality materials and trained professionals to get the job done right. They also provide water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, electrical upgrades, new roofs, heating and cooling, and so much more. So make sure you check out their information at orbitenergy.us or call 800-836-3987. Got another Flyers game tonight, bros. This one on TNT up in the Garden. I actually did not realize it was on TNT. I'll be honest with you, I haven't really dove deep into the Flyers preseason schedule. It seems to be more you telling me in Coffee with Broge or myself figuring it out like 3 hours before because of the Flyers official Twitter account. Normally, I'm more on the money with those, but with the Flyers preseason, like I'll always know when a Sixers preseason game is. I'll always know when some of these preseason games, obviously with the Eagles and with spring training, we know. With the Flyers, for preseason, I just have not been dissecting the schedule, if you will. But yeah, it looks like they play tonight at 7:30. So we'll see what lineup plays, what players are playing, unless it's already been announced. And that's more information that I have not seen yet on Flyers preseason hockey. I think the West Coast teams could be in the AL, NL races late in October. Well, yeah, I'd imagine so with the NL West. There's a lot of firepower. Imagine playing this Cardinals team. Imagine winning 100-plus games, not winning your division, being the Dodgers, and then facing the St. Louis Cardinals in a wild card scenario. That would be absolutely insane. That would be nuts. That would blow my damn mind. I would be afraid. Oh, no doubt about it. I would be afraid. You have to be confident in yourself. You have to be aware of the situation. You got to be prepared if you're the Dodgers. But I'd be super nervous to play this St. Louis team. They don't lose. They don't know how to lose. It's one of the most historic runs we've ever seen in the history of September, in the history of Major League Baseball, how they've dialed it together. I remember looking back at their record. They were 500 baseball right around when the Phillies were playing 500 ball, which was basically all season long. So that's not going to tell you exactly where or when that was. But, oh, man, St. Louis is wild. I'll tell you what else is wild, though. BetQL. Do you want to get an advantage over your sports book? You need to download BetQL, the only app you'll need to make smart bets. Their model covers everything: spreads, over-unders, player prop bets, and so much more. There are sharp data so you can see who the pros are backing, line movements so you can jump on betting opportunities in real time, team summaries highlighting previous success against the spread and the team over-under. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store right now and download BetQL. Enter the discount code BRODES at payment checkout for 25% off of any of their subscription offerings. You can find this information in the description below. You can save all your picks in one place to track your success and winning streaks as well as viewing your rank on their leaderboard. So BetQL, also a no-brainer. Check them out down below in the description. Oh, yeah, it's going to be insane, man. The St. Louis Cardinals playing for sure. For sure. Logan says, I know you aren't a big fan of Simmons whatsoever, but if he does come back, he's not coming back. Do you think he will be the same Simmons? He's not coming back. It's not even something up for grabs. It's not even something up for debate. What would he be like? There's no coming back at this point. He will never show his face here again, and that's just the way he is. He's not going to return. He has destroyed all relationships here. And I know Daryl Morey says, well, look at Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, there's a difference in being a 16-year vet in one city, winning a Super Bowl in that city, having so much respect in the sport in general. No one has so much respect for Ben Simmons at this point. The way they say, I don't want to play with Joel Embiid. It's limiting our team the way I limit my game because of him, as if it's not Joel Embiid that has to limit his game because of Ben Simmons. No. Because now he's butthurt that his teammates threw him under the bus. His head coach threw him under the bus. Now it's the scheme. That's the problem. It's always something new. Then it was the fans and it was the city. He's searching for answers, searching for the reason why publicly to make an excuse. But at the end of the day, the problem is he's not good enough at basketball, and he's not willing to commit to being a better basketball player, and that's the issue. But until you look yourself in the mirror and you hear Stephen A. Smith rip into him, you're hearing Shaq rip into him a bit, and I'm not telling you, look, they're personalities that are willing to go the extra mile and say certain things, but I genuinely believe that they're on the right track with their response to this because they've been around the block. They've been around sports. They've been around sports media. They know Ben Simmons handling it this way is not the right way to go about things, and there really is no going back. Ben Simmons will not be back. Ben Simmons will not play basketball here. Ben Simmons will never show his face in this city with that uniform on again, to the point where I can't even have the hypothetical of if he does. There is no coming back. Ben Simmons is not coming back. It's just not happening. I don't know if they'll do better because he does relate to regular season ball, and his regular season ball does dominate pretty strongly. So I don't know if he will be if they will fully be better. And sure, they'll make the playoffs, but that's because you have Joel Embiid, and making the playoffs in the NBA is not something that's insanely difficult. You have 500 teams, and even at times below 500 teams slipping into the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. So it's not as if it's some, hard it's not like the NFL. Making the playoffs in the NFL is a huge deal. The Sixers were making playoffs and then starting the tank mode. I'll admit I was one of the guys defending him when it all started. Lately, I really don't want him back, so I definitely changed my mind. Yeah, he's a dope. He's a dope who's unwilling to appreciate what he has in front of him in this city with the sport of basketball. Bros, I'm really worried about us on Sunday with the Chiefs losing the last two and our defense being as basic as can be. Going to be a long couple of days. Yeah, I don't see them winning a lot of football games, Nick. I don't. There's a reason why I said take the under on 6.5. I see them more in the 5-6 range, and I saw them in the 6-7, even 8 range. And whenever people said even more than that, I thought that they were nuts. Yeah, you know what? It's going to be a long season. You're going to lose a lot of football games. I don't see win. They're going to win the ones they should. The New York Jets, the New York Giants, the Atlanta Falcons, and then they'll win those games and they'll lose the games that they should lose. It's probably going to be, as you alluded to with the defense when you say basic, this might be as basic of a schedule as you can find with they'll win when they should, they lose when they should. And with that, you'll see probably 5 wins or so. But that's nothing new. That's nothing new. And with that being said, I'm going to shut things down here. I want to thank everybody so much for hanging out with me today, this morning on Coffee with Broads. We got one more day to get through in this week. Well, we have this whole entire day and then Friday also. So I don't know why I said it like that. We have 2 more days. But in terms of Coffee with Broads, we got one more Friday here to kind of get us going into the weekend. I want to thank everybody so much for hanging out this morning. I'll catch you guys later. You're the best. Thank you. Catch you then.